Hello everyone, welcome back to another Excel tutorial. Today, we will learn how to use the LEN, find, search, replace, and substitute functions in Excel, along with the trim, upper, and lower functions. If you haven't watched my previous tutorials on Excel, make sure to check them out before proceeding with this one. Let's get started. First, let's go through the LEN function. The LEN function is used to calculate the total length of a given string, whether it's a cell, reference, or text within double quotation marks. We can use the LEN function to get the length of names specified in column B. Enter the LEN function, which requires one parameter as mandatory. Select cell reference B3 and hit enter. You can see that it returned 24 as the length of the value in the cell. For example, if I add spaces in the cell's value, you'll notice that the LEN function counts the spaces as well in the length of the string. Now, let's remove the spaces and drag the formula to other cells using the fill handle. If I add spaces anywhere in the cell, the LEN function still counts them. If we want to ignore extra spaces in the string, we can use the trim function built within Excel. Enter trim and select cell B3, then drag the formula to other cells. Let's add a few spaces for cell B4 and change the cell reference for the LEN function to the value resulted from the trim function. You can see that even if we add spaces, the LEN function returns the same value, as trim removes extra unwanted spaces from the given text. Let's delete the column and notice that as soon as we delete it, an error returns for the LEN function since there is no reference to a cell. Just drag the above formula to the current cell to populate the formula in the correct cell. Now, let's learn how to use LEN and trim together without adding an extra column. Instead of using an extra column for trim, we can use it within the LEN function. After LEN, enter the trim function and close the bracket. Drag the formula for other cells. Now, if we add any extra spaces in the cells, the trim function first ignores the error and gives a result, which is then used by the LEN function to count the length and give an accurate result while ignoring unwanted spaces. Let's remove the spaces and see that the result is the same. Moving on to the find function, it is used to find the position of a given text within a string. Enter the function, and let's find the capital letter E in cell B3. It is returning 1 as the letter E is the first letter in cell B3. If we drag the formula, you can see 2 cells returned 1, while the remaining cells returned errors, even though they have an E in the cell. The reason for this is that the find function is case sensitive, which means it checks if the entered find text is present in the cell in exactly the same case, including uppercase and lowercase letters. If we change it to a small e, the result is 4, because the word Excel has a small e in the 4th position. Let's drag the formula and see the changes applied. As each cell has a small e within the text, we can use a lower function within the find function for the cell reference to see the output. It returns 1. The lower function converts the text value to lowercase letters, even if it has capital letters as well. So the find function checks for the small e at the start of the text and returns 1. Now, let me change from lower to upper and see the result, which is an error. The reason is that I am trying to find a small e within the capital letters, but the upper function converts the string to capital letters. Let's revert back to finding a small e within the text B3 and specify the starting position as 6, and the result is 19. This is because the function ignored the first 5 characters, which are Excel with a space, and then found the E letter in the word unleashed. Let's drag the formula and see the changes applied. Moving on to the next function, which is search. This function is quite similar to the find function. Enter the function, find text as a small e, and specify the cell reference of B3. Now, you can see that it is returning 1 as the position. Have you figured out the difference between find and search? Pause the video and leave a comment if you did find the difference. If not, let me help you with it. The difference is that the find function is case sensitive, while the search function is not. For example, wherever the letter E occurs, regardless of whether it's uppercase or lowercase, the search function returns the position. If I change the find text to a capital E, the result remains the same. Now, let's try the same with the find function and drag it for other cells. You can see that it is returning errors because find is case sensitive and cannot find the exact E in the other cells when the case is different. Next, we have the replace function, which helps us replace values within a given text or a cell. Enter the replace function, select the old text as B3 and the start number as 1, as we want to replace from the first character only. You can change this for any other position as required. I want to change a total of 5 characters, which is the word Excel, and the replaced text should be word. Close the bracket, and you can also change it to proper case. Now, you can see that the function replaced the text from Excel formulas unleashed to word formulas unleashed. Drag it to other cells to see the changes it made. If I change the number of characters to replace from 5 to 1, it will replace only the F from the word formulas. If I enter 7, the entire word formulas has been replaced. Work around with each cell to see the differences. Finally, we have the substitute function, which is similar to the replace function. Enter the function and see the parameters required. Select the text as the output of the replace function. I want to replace word with Excel, so enter the same within double inverted commas and hit enter. Drag it to other cells and see the difference between both functions. The substitute takes parameters in a different way than the replace function, as it doesn't use positions and numbers of characters to change. I hope everyone has enjoyed the tutorial. Stay tuned and connected for more upcoming tutorials on Excel. Thank you.